The San Antonio Spurs are about to have a championship parade very soon. And if I'm near San Antonio when it does happen, I'm going to be joining the party. And well, honestly, there isn't a party I wouldn't go to, unless I was invited by P. Diddy, of course. But alright, let's get back on track here. The Spurs will be champions soon. And it isn't because of Victor Wembanyama. Instead, it has more to do with Jeremy Sohan. Here's why. Jeremy Sohan's been on a roller coaster ride with fans over the past 2 seasons. In his first year in the league, everyone was calling him the modern-day Dennis Rodman, saying how he was the perfect 90s throwback player, and he was being praised for his hilarious hair colors. However, this season, the entire basketball world turned against him after they accused Sohan of not passing the ball to Wemby. And you know how fans are over Wemby. They might honestly love him more than LeBron James, at least that's certainly true down in San Antonio. But truth be told, he didn't deserve the hate. He wasn't trying to sabotage Victor's career. He just isn't a great passer yet with the touch or the vision to get Wemby all of the touches fans think he deserves. Calling Jeremy Sohan, of all people, selfish is just ridiculous. The man literally got drafted high, mainly due to him sacrificing his body for the team, which hints at the Dennis Rodman comparisons. He was being asked to be a point guard when that isn't what he is. He missed Wemby a few times, but let's be real, everyone was exaggerating. I remember when that rumor started. I watched about 5 Spurs games in a row to see if it was true, and it just simply wasn't. If he felt like Wemby was open or in a position to score, he gave the ball to him. And if he wasn't, then he wouldn't pass it to him. Did he always make the right decision? Of course not. That's why he isn't a true point guard. There's nothing wrong with that, but his passing ability isn't the topic of this video or why I made the claim that he's the most important if the Spurs want to win a championship. It's his defense. The importance of elite defensive stoppers to win championships cannot be overstated. In a league dominated by high-scoring offenses and dynamic playmakers like Luka Doncic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, these defensive specialists serve as the last line of defense, shutting down opposing stars and disrupting their rhythm. Whether it's stifling perimeter defense, rim protection, or anchoring the defense, elite defensive stoppers are the cornerstone of championship-caliber teams. One of the most iconic examples of the impact of elite defensive stoppers on championship teams is the Bad Boy Pistons of the late 1980s and early 1990s. Led by defensive beast Dennis Rodman along with the likes of Joe Dumars and Bill Laimbeer, the Pistons employed a suffocating defensive style that frustrated opponents and paved the way for back-to-back NBA championships in 1989 and 1990. Rodman, in particular, was the head of the Pistons defense, using his unrivaled intensity, versatility, and ability to anticipate plays to shut down opposing defenses and anchor one of the most dominant defenses in NBA history. To this very day, he's still the only defender in NBA history who could guard all 5 positions. People usually say LeBron could in his prime, but honestly, that's a lie. Just a lazy narrative created and then followed by those who don't know basketball. Now, could LeBron do well on bigs sometimes? Yeah, sure, but he was never assigned to guard centers all game long. Was he even assigned to defend guards and dominant wings all game? No, but Dennis Rodman did. Over his career, Rodman was assigned to guard guys like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, all the way up to guys like Shaquille O'Neal in 1996. Without Rodman's defense, the Pistons wouldn't have been as great. That's just facts. Rodman put them over the top. Similarly, the Chicago Bulls dynasty of the 1990s, led by the legendary Michael Jordan, owed much of its success to the defensive prowess of players like Scottie Pippen and again, Dennis Rodman in 1996. Pippen in particular emerged as one of the premier perimeter defenders of his era, using his length, athleticism, and basketball IQ to disrupt passing lanes and contest shots, and frustrate the hell out of opposing scorers. His defensive versatility allowed the Bulls to switch seamlessly on pick and rolls, suffocate opposing offenses, and ultimately capture 6 NBA championships in 8 years. MJ was a defensive stopper as well. He defended the opposing team's best player slightly more than Scottie Pippen did in the playoffs. They would often take turns, and depending on the night, would switch assignments. If you go back and watch the Bulls' final runs, you could see there was no way in hell they would have won without the lockdown defense of Pippen, Jordan, and Rodman. In the modern era of the NBA, elite defensive stoppers play a crucial role in championship quests. The San Antonio Spurs' Big Three era, anchored by defensive stalwarts Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili, then later Kawhi Leonard, relied heavily on defense to stifle opposing offenses and secure multiple NBA championships. Leonard, in particular, emerged as a defensive beast who could do it all, earning one NBA Defensive Player of the Year award and showcasing his ability to shut down the league's most potent scorers on the biggest stage. In much the same fashion, the Golden State Warriors dynasty of the mid-2010s, led by the Splash Brothers Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, owed much of its success to the defensive versatility of players like Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, and Klay Thompson, who was arguably the best two-way player at the wing and guard position. Thompson was a good defensive stopper who had success guarding players like Kyrie Irving in the NBA Finals. Younger fans who see current-day Klay wouldn't even believe how elite of a defender he was in his prime. Then, of course, you can't forget about Drew Holiday in 2021 with the Bucks. The Bucks were already a good squad, but Drew Holiday's arrival in Milwaukee would prove to be the one missing piece of the puzzle. Acquired in a blockbuster trade with the New Orleans Pelicans, Holiday earned him a reputation as one of the premier defensive guards in the NBA, a tenacious, relentless defender capable of shutting down the opponent's best players with his size, strength, and basketball IQ. From the moment he stepped foot on the court in a Bucks uniform, Holiday made his presence felt on the defensive end. With his suffocating one-on-one defense and relentless energy that allowed him to run tough screens without any problem, he set the tone for the Bucks, instilling a culture of accountability and intensity that defined their playoff run. As the Bucks battled their way through the postseason, it was Holiday's defense that proved to be the difference maker time and time again. In the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Brooklyn Nets, he faced the daunting task of guarding perennial All-Stars Kyrie Irving and James Harden. He used his quickness and athleticism to disrupt their rhythm and make every shot attempt difficult. But it was in the NBA Finals against the Phoenix Suns that Holiday truly cemented his status as the top dog defensively. Matched up against Suns superstar Devin Booker, he accepted the challenge with open arms, shadowing Booker's every move and making life miserable for him on the offensive end. In Game 5, with the series tied at 2 games apiece and the Bucks clinging to a narrow lead, Holiday made a game-changing steal off of Booker. He fed the ball to Giannis for a thunderous alley-oop dunk, a sequence that would ultimately swing the momentum in favor of the Bucks and propel them to a championship. You see, all championship teams in recent memory, no matter how far back you go, had an elite defensive stopper. Even last year, the Denver Nuggets got to the finals primarily due to Aaron Gordon's defense on Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, KD, and LeBron. And that's the role Jeremy Sohan is in. So for the few Spurs fans that hate on Sohan, I think it's time to realize that man will be the ticket to a title. And I don't care if Wemby averages 40 points and 30 rebounds. If they don't have a defensive stopper to slow down these elite NBA teams who have multiple elite scorers like the Mavericks, Celtics, Suns, Clippers, and Nuggets, then a championship will not be in your future. This season, Sohan is taking on the toughest matchups in the NBA. As of today, he has spent 1,702.7 possessions from 2023 to 2024 defending All-Stars, and they're shooting 51% against him as a whole. So he has been a menace this year. And the fact that he's getting all of this experience guarding the best players in the NBA at 20 years old is just scary. If he's doing this well guarding them as a 20-year-old, then just imagine what his defense is going to look like in the next 3 to 4 seasons. Pure lockdown gold. While he may not be the best matched up with guards, he is a wing scorer's worst nightmare. If the Spurs can pick up a solid guard defender, either in free agency or the draft, he's going to do a great job against bigger forwards like KD, Jason Tatum, and Luka, some of the deadliest scorers in the league. And his elite defense on them will be the least of the opposing team's worries because behind Sohan will be a humongous 7'4" monster in Victor Wembanyama, who's going to send their shot all the way into a different arena. Wemby's inside presence will make Sohan's job even easier. Sohan is such a good defender that even Greg Popovich is impressed. He said this: Kevin Durant is such a difficult matchup for everybody. He's one of the greatest ever. And Jeremy never stopped working his butt off. He's physical and did everything he could to guard a great player. He deserves a lot of credit. He also hit the boards for us. He was exceptional. Wemby and Sohan might be one of the best defensive duos in the NBA sooner than some of us think. If they're able to get things rolling offensively, the defense will take care of itself. but I want you guys to let me know down in the comments what you think about Jeremy Sohan. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.